Last one. Okay, here we go, here we go. Take a deep breath and stretch. All right, so I ran into this one. I'm sorry about that. Here we go. So sine squared x plus cosine x equals 0. We need these to be in the same trig function. So this sine squared has got to go. So we're going to change that out using the big kahuna again. So sine squared is really 1 minus cosine squared x plus cosine x equals 0. Step one. Now it's a quadratic because of the squared. So we're going to have to rearrange this so that it's positive. So I'm going to move all of these things to the other side so that this piece is a positive. Now I'm going to move it all over, and then this side will have a 0. So 0 equals, I'm also going to reorder it. Cosine squared x should come first, a minus cosine x, and a minus 1. So that is now all in one trig function. It is a quadratic, and we can try to factor it. But I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't. If you try to factor this thing, it doesn't factor. Believe me, it doesn't factor. You could try it, and it's not because of the trig, because there are trig functions that factor. This one just doesn't. We saw that when we did proofs. But this one doesn't factor, so this is as hard as it possibly gets. If it doesn't factor and it's a quadratic, we have to use the quadratic formula. Do you guys remember quadratic formula? It has been a while. Okay, so our A is a 1, our B is a -1, and our C is a -1. So you might have to go look up quadratic formula. Here we go. Ready? X cosine of x equals, because it's not just x, it's cosine of x. Negative b, so -1, plus or minus the square root of b squared, -1 squared, minus 4ac. Really watch your positive and negatives. All over 2a. Really important you're good at the quadratic formula. It never goes away. Here we go. So this is cosine of x equals, a negative on a negative is a +1, plus or minus, -1 squared is 1, -4 times 1 times -1 is +4, all over 2. 1 plus 4 is 5, so we have cosine of x equals 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. That's one option. Or cosine of x equals 1 minus the square root of 5 over 2. So I broke those apart on purpose because you have to handle them separately. You guys ready? Obviously, they're not on the circle, so we're going to use our calculator. We're going to make sure we're in radian mode. So I'm in radian mode. I'm going to put this in. Actually, my calculator is funky. I have to start with a 5 and do the square root. I have to add 1 and divide by 2. So I make sure when you do this, you get it to this spot where it's 1.618. I'm going to hit second cosine, and I get an error message. You know why? It's too big. That means it's too big. So this part doesn't give us an answer. Sweet. All right, let's come over here. I should have known that when I put it in and I got 1 point something. I should have recognized that right away. All right, let's check this one. You ready? I'm going to start with the 5. I'm going to hit the square root button. I'm going to make it negative. I'm going to put +1, hit equals, divided by 2. Now this one is less than 1, -0.618. Okay, now here's what I want you guys to realize. Since it's a negative value, cosine could happen when it's negative. It could happen here or here. There's 2 possible answers. Ready? So we're still in radian mode. We're going to hit second cosine. We get 2.237. I'm going to round that to 2.24. So 2.24 is going to be this first answer. 2.24. There's our first answer. But we need the other one because they told us to use the whole circle. It's so annoying. The other one is going to be 2.24 backwards. So how do you do 2.24 backwards? You start with 2 pi, so 2 pi, hit equals. Whoops, okay, never mind. 2 times pi, hit equals, and subtract the 2.24. And we get 4.04. And there's our second answer. A lot of math, right? I know. It's like all math rolled into one. Your homework. So this has solving at the top. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 4 are solving. Those are the new questions that go with this assignment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I have a proof, because this is time to review before our test. A proof, a double whammy question off of the inverse lesson, and a graphing review question. They give you the graph. You have to write the equation. You have to fill it in. The A, the B, the C, and the D. All right, this is due on next Wednesday. Good luck.